vibration.
Do you know I had to,
Hi, everyone.
I had to click go live again? No. This keeps happening. I'm going to do my dowsing
Cheers.
rods
Do your
again.
dowsing rods.
Yeah, do it again.
It did it again.
Wow.
This is what I'm talking about.
God.
You guys don't understand. We've been live for 5 minutes and had tech problems, and we don't know if it's because of this.
Yeah.
No, this is the new detection system if we have tech problems.
Do you guys know what this is?
It is live, though.
We are finally live.
I just
Welcome
landed
to
on-
Psychic Sunday.
I'm Riz Oriah. I just landed on the roof from the North Pole. I just wanted to pay a little sneak preview visit
Yes.
and tell you Santa is doing great, and he will see all of you good boys and girls
That's right.
and everything in between.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Let us know where you are hailing from.
Yes.
No pun intended in case there's hail, because I know a lot of you have snow, right?
Yep. I've seen it. I was flying around
Yeah,
and I
that's
saw
where you
some
belong.
hail. Oh,
Oh,
the
my
dowsing
God.
rods are moving. Do you guys
Did
know what
you
dowsing
see
rods
this?
are?
Can you explain what it...
Well, you're not moving.
I'm not moving. Can you please tell
I'm looking at you.
people what a dowsing rod is?
So dowsing rods are basically a spiritual tool, metaphysical tool, but they're actually physical. They're picking up on frequencies and energies the same way pendulums work. And what they tend to do is accentuate and amplify your inner signal. So they're an extension of your psychic nervous system, extending out from your auric field and feeling the energy. Now, with your intention of what you're trying to find, it goes through the rods.
You hold your hands very still.
So I'm going to hold them very still. Okay. So depending on...
Do you have to hold them in...
Well, I'm holding my hands perfectly level and perfectly still.
Doesn't it start to...
Look.
Whoa.
Oh,
notice
it's
that-
crossing. You guys,
so-
the spirits are in the house.
So notice with me, they cross.
That is pure proof right there.
Let me tell you why it does that with me, because before the show starts, I'm already going into my space of my psychic space.
Oh,
so it's
my
very
God.
pointed, you might say, right? So that's what's happening right there.
Oh,
Okay.
we got a lot of yummy people in the house.
Yes, my antlers are my antenna.
We have
Yes.
Rogue, Carrie, Bernadette, Amy, Shadat, Lori, Brooke, Christine, Arthur, Buckshot, Dawn.
And look,
Woohoo!
Kitty's here. Poofy's here. She wants to say hello.
Yeah, Poof is here
If you are here for the first time, welcome to this very serious show called Psychic Sundays.
where we give messages from the other side in very serious situations.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we bring so much levity to our psychic work?
Do you realize that people are going to ask tonight about people that they miss who are on the other side?
Yes.
And
you guys
I'm going to be
know-
giving them the answer
Do you guys
from
know?
the magical reindeer, Rudolph, who maybe I can channel, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and give those messages about that magical flight that all of our loved ones take to go to the other side. And that is what they do.
By the way,
Close to 2 decades of giving readings for me.
Yeah.
We are over a decade together, well over a decade doing this work. And I will tell you, the purpose of mediumship, the gift of mediumship, is that we can choose to understand that our loved ones are in joy on the other side,
yes.
seeing that we are all eternal, right?
That's right.
And so there's a great deal of magic, but we go through the pain of mourning. I have myself. That's what made me become a medium. And then I broke through the other side, y'all. That's what I did.
Well,
That's why I'm here, because I've just returned to joy after all the storms that this reindeer has flown through.
We've come full circle. What
Yeah.
I want to say, what I'm trying to say is some of you guys don't know, and I sound all excited, but I'm not. So Riz has lost several family members, his mom and dad, his brother. I've
best
lost
friend.
my mom and dad. We've lost friends, all our grandparents and everything. So we've experienced a lot of loss.
Great deal of loss. And that's what propelled us
But what makes
to do
us-
this work.
What makes us happy, though, in the why we're always celebrating, like some cultures do when people cross, is we know the release and the freedom and the joy and the excitement and the ethereal wonderment and amazing God love that your loved ones are feeling on the other side.
Of course.
So because we know that so intimately and detailed, we feel the effervescentness and the excitement.
Oh, did you say the effervescence?
Yeah, that's the word of the day.
I like that. When I was a kid, there was a ginger ale commercial that talked about the effervescence.
If I have my Bigfoot on my lap, the cats won't
Oh,
jump on my lap.
is that true?
Yeah, because she's doing her routine and she sees that I have.
She sees another creature that's
creature.
getting your attention. Look, but Bigfoot can't see.
So Lori,
moving
you
his eyes.
lost your husband a year ago. You're on the path to learn your own ability to connect. And that, my dear, is why we're here. So the vibration of love feels so good. That feeling of love that you have for your husband feels so amazing. And that is the feeling and the frequency that he's in. So that's the best time and the way that you can really feel him the most. And I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, because that's how you can feel him the most.
This is what's very interesting, is that some of these truths have been expressed in different ways, even in movies. For example, when in Star Wars, when Yoda was talking about the Force and talking about the Jedis don't go into darkness, those feelings, because it kind of interrupts the Force, that's actually kind of true about, it's completely parallel to what we talk about, which is that many times people feel like when they have to feel very sad to connect with that person who is crossed over. So when they're in the pain, that's kind of a bridge. More often than not, that's not the bridge. Many times when we're doing that, they are watching us, but they know it's our path to go through the process of mourning, which we must do. Earth is a school, so we have to go through that. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get and feel like you're having a relationship with someone who's crossed over, you're past the physical earthly relationship. Now you are in the spirit connection relationship, which is a new relationship you need to get to know. So as you meditate, as you do all of your practices to calm your mind, to quiet your mind and open your third eye and your senses, ooh, that's a big kitty right there.
I have to go slow with her because she gets.
As you start to do that, you start to go more into joy and peace, which is the frequency they are on, guys. When you leave your body, what do you think happens when you die? Your frequency rises into the version of yourself that is more complete. And what happens to those of us who are left here, to our vibration, who are sad and totally devastated the person is gone? Our vibration drops. So their vibration went up, where we all used to be here, their vibration went up, our vibration went down. So that increases the distance between you guys, and it's difficult to hear them, to feel them. So in comes the medium, who doesn't really believe in death the same way, also isn't in the emotional turmoil because they didn't know the person. So that pain is not in the medium's being. So their connection is there.
And also in the grieving, I've noticed that when you feel a wave coming through of grief, this is what you and I do. We just stop. We give ourselves that moment. We let that wave just come through. And that's usually when they're standing the closest to us. Yeah. And we feel their presence. And we have cried. There's moments we have cried instantly for like 30 seconds. And then it
let out a huge...
Like if it just happened yesterday.
Mm.
Like really real. Like for your brother who's crossed many years ago.
Yeah.
And there's moments you feel him and you get choked up. Your eyes get watery and you put your head down and you just let it roll through you. And really what's happening is that he's standing right next to Riz. Yeah. And he gets choked up because he can feel his presence. So when you're feeling that grief and you can feel that presence coming through, sometimes you just let it roll through. Like, don't resist it. Don't do anything with it. Just allow the memories to come through. And then when it's over, release it. It's kind of like when you're done doing dishes, you just walk away from the sink. You have to realize it's part of life, right? And it's part of the
process.
The process.
So that's what we do. We're not just giving mediumship readings. Let's go over... each week we go over, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And we're going to talk about how the readings go. You know, Psychic Sundays is a place where we are inviting you into our living room, where we have had our own personal Psychic Sundays all these years, meaning we would chill on Sunday nights and I would give readings to the family and the kids and the friends who were hanging out. Right. Then we said, why don't we just bring it to people out there? Because we're so used to the big retreats and all the readings, all the official stuff, that we're like, it's sad no one gets to experience like being in your PJs or your, your reindeer suit.
We see ourselves kind of like Gordon Ramsay, where There's a point.
Like
Let me
Gordon
explain.
Ramsay.
Yeah, let me explain why. There's a point where in the beginning, when he first started his career, where he was going in and helping local restaurants, and he was talking to everybody he could about food, and he was just so invested. And there was a point that he couldn't stop anymore. And he was like, I got this. I understand the restaurant world and food and how to be an excellent chef. And I am going to go 110%.
Yeah.
And he did. And we love every second of everything he does. And so he just keeps going because he can't help himself. He doesn't even know what to do with himself anymore because he has so much information he wants to share. And that's how we feel.
We do feel that way. In that sense, I do feel a kinship with people who want to share what they know. So, and what they've explored. That's why I feel that a good term for kind of what we do and maybe what you do in your own field is you're kind of a guide. You have been up the mountain in whatever field that you have experience in. You've been up the mountain a bit further than some other people. And you come back and you share what you've seen and say, hey, look out for this or look out for that. Now, going over the experience of tonight and how it's going to unfold is that we're just going to chill and talk. And it's not we're here to kind of flow, really to chill out and flow. So if you've got a candle nearby, light it. If you're distracted, you want to put the lights down a little bit and just chill out. Some of you are watching us on different time zones. We've got people from different countries, from Peru to India to the UK, wherever you are. A big warm hello from the California coast where we are. And this is time to cozy up because as you hear messages for yourself, if we get to your question, it's one thing, but it's also something else that you get a benefit from hearing someone else's message because we're just here to drop whatever information that we have to share with you guys. We love your comments, and I think this is our 14th or 15th episode.
Yeah. And also I wanted to tell you guys, fun little surprise. After the show tonight, we're uploading our first episode
of Psychic Couple Reacts. We're doing reaction videos to our favorite paranormal shows and the paranormal activity in those shows and giving you our take on what was going down in that haunted house or haunted hotel.
You guys do
So
not
check it out.
understand how fun this is.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. I think I'm going to want to like film an episode every day.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot of reaction videos.
I'm freaking out.
So basically you can type in a question now.
Yeah, we have
does
some
not-
house rules. Can I go over them?
Please.
Of course. It's the Taurus going over the house rules. Erica laughs uncomfortably. No, I'm just kidding. So here we go. Number one, you can only ask one question so that you give a chance for everybody else to get their questions asked.
Right.
You could do a super chat. We'll try to get to all the super chats before we end. We never know exactly what time we're going to end, but when we do end, if you did not get your question answered, you can come back the following Sunday and we'll answer you first.
So super chats are when you make a donation and you kind of go forward in the line. Now, you don't have to buy a reading, guys. This is not about that. It's just that if you would like to, we'd love it. And if you want to do it, great, do it. And we kind of like break it up 50-50. So you can type in questions. Now, we can't get to all the questions. Every week we've been getting more and more viewers. Eventually it's going to go into so many people. We can't get to everyone. But the way that it works, and you can trust this process,
yes,
is that the guides guide me to the question that needs to be answered by their own timeline. Your spirit guides in the universe have their own timeline. It's not just up to us, as we have found out living on this planet. It's never up to us, this timing, right? So another thing that I do is, without anybody asking questions, I sometimes have people from the other side who come to me and either say their name or they'll say something specific that one of you out there says, oh, he's talking about me. Oh, that's my uncle so-and-so. Like I've given names and people go, oh, that's my uncle who just passed away. Something like that. So that also happens. We weave in, we just chill and flow with everything because that's how we live. That's how we roll. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll talk about stuff. We'll do some readings. We'll chill out.
Before we get into all of your comments and things coming in right now, which I'm taking a little look at everything.
Yeah.
I do want to say that we're interested in what you guys are going to do for the holidays. We're interested in what you're going to do this weekend. So please tell us what you guys are doing. We'd like to hear how people are living their lives. Us personally, we love Christmas lights on houses, like exactly how I'm wearing. And we like that show, Christmas Light Fight.
Oh, Christmas Light Fight is fun. You should watch it.
I'm
It's
addicted.
I watched it on Hulu.
Yeah.
So Christmas Light Fight is where people just go mad wild decorating their houses.
Yeah,
Talk
it's
about the definition of
incredible.
lit. Those houses are lit. You got to watch it.
Amazing.
They compete.
We're going to be doing that the next few weekends. We're going to be definitely driving through the neighborhoods on this, if anybody knows some really good places in Los Angeles where we're, broadcasting from, please tell us.
Yeah,
And
we'd
we're
love to
gonna
drive by and see that.
Yeah. So, Riz, would you like to take a look?
Sure. I mean, I'm going to feel out first because I feel that there's some people here who are communicating to me right now.
I guess we can start taking questions.
There's somebody here who's
15.
okay, but there's somebody here who's crossed over, and they actually were. This is the second time they're coming through. This person was pretty much almost deaf the way they're coming through and talking to me right now, that they had a physical life, that they were practically deaf. This is a male figure who is coming through and is connected to one of you guys, older male figure, and cannot hear. It's almost like they did do some signing. Another message that's coming through here is somebody who's has a necklace that's like a bear tooth necklace, meaning many teeth, actual teeth on this necklace, and this person is referring to that. So if that's you who has this necklace, it's a very specific, unusual piece. So, we're not saying something like gold chain or something like that, which everybody has. No, this is a very specific, I almost want to say it's little claws or little teeth that they had. The other thing is that there's a person here who spent their last days in Hawaii, that's where they crossed over, or that's where the property still is, and these people are still, you guys or whoever belongs to this person who's here, is either has the house now or is looking to like what to do with it. So those are three different.
So Erica, did you write those down? Okay, let's.
Okay, now the other thing is you don't need to write it down because
No, we will, because-
they'll mention if this pertains to you. Write it in the comments, and
Okay,
Erica
right
will
in the
get to
comments, Riz mentioned. That'll make our lives so much easier, you guys.
Okay, and the other name is Ruth that is coming through, Ruth. So there's somebody here named Ruth or Ruthie that is connected to one of you guys.
Well, there was somebody who asked a question that stood out for me, and I would like
Right now?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like you to tune into your guides.
Sure.
And see if you can tune into this person's guide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the name is Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
I've been estranged.
Dawn or Don?
Dawn.
Dawn.
I've been estranged from my daughter for a few years. I miss her terribly during the holidays. Can you tell me if she's going to be okay?
I would need her first name.
First name.
Okay. Next question, and we'll get back to that one.
Okay.
Guys,
Let's see.
if you're going to ask a question about someone, first names, if there's and say your name as well, because some of you have handles where we don't know what your name is. So I would like to know if it's the person who crossed over, say their first name only, please. You can say when they passed, and so their name and your first name. There you go.
Okay. Senor. Blessings, Lady O and Riz. This is John Thiessen. Just curious if my guides have any messages for me or my family as we enter the new year.
Yes. Give me a moment. Hi, John. Let me drop in there. Home improvement. Home improvement is the message, which is renovations or redoing something, recarpeting, pulling up the floor. Something is going on that actually structurally needs to be fixed in the home that will get worse over time. It's not just like a doorknob. I'm not talking about something simple, but I keep getting something about the floor, where the floor meets the wall. And they're saying, do these little home improvements to strengthen not only, of course, the foundation of the home, but when you do things like that, spiritually the connection is that it also strengthens the energy of the people who live in that home. Also, John, I was wondering if this name Craig or Casey has anything to do with you. Let me know about that. Also, is there someone in this family who does gymnastics or is doing is very good at like the trampoline or something? They're giving a lot of energy to this person to continue to do that or get back on the horse with that. I also do want to say that, look, a lot of people take summer vacations, but I this message may apply to more than one person, but this is specifically for you, John, is to make sure that you take time off, which is not the typical time off that most people take. What is the typical time off most people take? Regular holidays, July 4th, Labor Day, those things. No, it should be at a different time. And it should be during the week. And whoever wants to go will have to either take off school or take off work, because it is about, you need to be away from the crowds when you are away together. Some people love the crowds, but I'm just getting that is good for you. And I was also curious, one more thing, John, is there some connection to you in either Washington State or Washington, D.C.? Because that's coming up for me.
So Adelie says her husband wears a bear claw.
Thank you. Adelie, what's your husband's name? There is someone here who crossed over that is around your husband. This also is a male figure, feels older, so maybe this is a parent or whatever, but he just came, when I gave that message, someone put their hands on my shoulder and said, that person has the bear claw. Okay, so many blessings to your husband. I feel that this blessings is about his health and about him getting tightening up his bringing new energy into his physical fitness and well-being, to kind of branch out and do things that he's not normally doing, to give his health an upgrade. And that bear energy is really one that's fiercely protective and strong and confident, and yet bears also play. Remember that. Bears also play, don't they? But when they're not hunting or attacking you, if you were to observe them in a documentary, they roll around, they play, they lick their paws, they're got, a piece of straw in their mouth or whatever. So it's about that playfulness, and that your husband having the balance of that within him, that strength and then that playfulness too, and to make sure he never loses that.
Okay, Heather King. Hi there, Riz and Lady O. Is there anything my guides want me to know about my current relationship and career? I need clarity on what steps to take next in both areas. Thank you so much.
Well, I don't see that, Heather. Immediately, I want to say that I don't feel that the relationship is at cross purposes. I do think that there's a meeting point here. I do think that you are pointed in the same direction. I want to say this here. That comes through very strong. And I do feel that both of you are very strong individuals as well. I feel that you have... I was wondering if there's two other people, like, are there stepkids, or are there one person on each of your sides that you either take care of or is like you would consider the closest to you, who are also would be affected by this partnership or relationship? I do feel that you guys are better when there is the sense of family or the sense of group or friends for a common purpose of just togetherness, right? That's the purpose, is togetherness. And that's a place that both of you need and thrive in. It's not just to be just the two of you all the time. Also want to say is the simplicity of this match I like very much. There are basic colors, right? We can use 3 colors to make all the other colors in a paint deck. You just need red, yellow, and blue. You can make almost any color. And this relationship has that capacity to do many, many multifaceted things and experiences together. So I like that. As far as career goes, I do see the next rung of the ladder being the only next rung here, whatever this career is. It's like you can take a step up, but then I feel that has hit its ceiling. So if you're fine with just going up one level and staying there, that's if that's good with you, it's good for the universe too. But if you want to have more, which is whether it's more money or more freedom or both together, it would have to be more of a radical change. Okay?
Heather King.
Recommit yourself. That was who we just did. Was Heather?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I had her.
Said her daughter's name that you had asked about earlier.
Yes.
Emily.
Dawn is asking about being estranged from Emily. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go there. Give me a moment. One thing I'm going to tell you guys, I shoot it to you straight. Whatever way I get it is what I tell you. If I don't see it happening, I'm just going to tell you I don't see it happening. I really can't stand when you have these like psychics who are always just trying to tell you what you want to hear. That's not psychic. That doesn't serve them nor you. So that's not how I roll. I will tell you if I don't see it. I feel both of your energies on one sense hanging by a thread when it comes to how you feel about each other, meaning you're very, very fragile and very, very vulnerable with each other, and this can be very explosive. I do feel that there's a big part of her that is very similar to you, where both of you have gone through those spaces of just not even wanting to be here and just keep doing this crazy world and this crazy life. That's one perspective, that this is a crazy world and a crazy life. And the other perspective is that's simply a school with lots of opportunities to make your reality. I do want to say this to you, is that I feel that I see a boomerang flying. This is just to let you know what's psychically happening to me when I tune in to you guys, is that what does a boomerang do? It comes back to you. And so I would say, yes, you will make a move towards each other, and it's going to happen randomly. And randomly doesn't mean that you're going to bump into each other at the supermarket. What this means is that you're going to know immediately when to contact her, or you will get the feeling that she's about to contact you. So that's what I see there.
You know what I just realized?
That I'm wearing a reindeer suit?
No. Yeah. You know what I just realized?
What?
Oh, it's just because I had the screen. So it looks like we're totally off to the side, or is this my imagination? Like the camera moved. So you have all this room
here on the
side.
Is a spirit moving? Where? You mean over
like
here?
You have all this room over here, yeah.
Because I'm showing off my books right here.
All right.
Look. All my books that you can't see the titles of. I don't even know what books I have anymore. I think I've purchased books because I judge books by their cover, and I will buy a book. Not only will I judge a book by its cover, I will buy the book based on its cover.
I'm going to do some art with books one day, and I'll do one of those Harry Potter kind of like towers of just books piled up and have them all over.
Are you going to glue them together?
Den, yes.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
That's good. I love that.
Okay, so we're going to go to Shea Bell.
Shea Bell.
How can I recognize spirit?
Is that a French restaurant? Chez Belle, Chezbelle. Chez Belle. You should open a restaurant called Chez Belle.
How can I recognize spirits, or if I'm a clairaudient and hear frequency? Am I hearing spirit or hearing frequency? The sounds I hear sound like it comes from different directions and gets louder or lower.
Good. You're right on time. That is exactly how it happens. So I'll share one of my experiences when I first began to open up psychically. I would be in my apartment in New York City, and I thought I had ringing in my ears. And so I thought, okay, I haven't been to any loud concerts lately. What do? I went out into the roof, because I had a rooftop apartment. I went onto the roof, and then I heard the sound as if it was coming from the night sky. And I'm like, wait.
That's weird.
Oh, that's weird. Is this in the alien extraterrestrial connection? So I was just living with it for a while.
Right.
And what I discovered over time is what I'm going to share with you here, is that these are symptoms of your third eye or your psychic awareness opening. Everyone has a different way of having psychic awareness. You mentioned clairaudience, which means obviously you've been doing your homework, my friend. So we have clairsentient, we have clairaudient. These are clairvoyance is clear seeing. Okay. So some people smell things, meaning, for example, I've done readings where I'm with a person and I will smell something that is a very strong fragrance, very strong connection with the person who has crossed over. So I might smell a cigar or a pipe or a cigarette, or sometimes I've smelled a particular flower. So your hearing the frequency is your spirit guides, Chez Belle, that are tuning you. Okay? They're tuning you, getting you used to calming down, going, ooh, I hear frequencies. Now, the natural tendency for you to be able to try to figure it out, what are they trying to say? That's not what this is about. This is about you not looking for answers or what is the message. This is about you just accepting it and start understanding that which you have considered to be extraordinary circumstances or supernatural starts to become more ordinary and natural to you. This is, once you start opening these connections that you have, over time, you're going to see that you're living in a different reality than most people. It doesn't mean you're better than them. It just means that you are tuned to different things. For example, a very experienced musician is walking down the street hearing sounds that some of us who don't have that tuned ear, we're not hearing it, but they are. Maybe they're hearing the rhythm of the construction that's going on, and they're hearing the frequency or the note that all the cars are honking. It's just a way a person with perfect pitch. Do you know what that is? It means that a person who is able to tell what note is being played on a piano without looking. So they'll hit a note, and the person with perfect pitch will go, oh, that's a C sharp, and it'll be correct. So they're tuned into a frequency, since you're mentioning frequency. So one thing I'm going to tell you guys, if you're going to bring up stuff like frequency, get ready we're going to do a PhD in this topic over all the courses of this podcast. So the answer is, how do you recognize is that this is going to lead to that. So after a while, Shay, to make this message short and sweet, is begin to just open yourself up to doing some automatic writing and feeling what the frequency is saying. It might give you letters, it might give you numbers, and just start writing it without any judgment. Over time, eventually it'll turn into a message.
Okay, this message is from Lori Ann.
Hi, Lori Ann.
Does my husband Harold have a message for me?
How
He passed
sweet.
December 4th, 2022.
That is just a year ago. Wow. Let me see. He's being a little tight-lipped right now. Give me a moment. I'm going to give him a little bit more time because I don't think he's really come through before, so he's still getting used to it. That's how I feel it.
Well, we can come back.
We'll come back to you. I think
Erica,
he'll come through.
Write that down. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, write down who I have to come, if you would, please, who I would have to come back to.
I have to keep track.
What's this big yellow
Harold.
box I see over there?
That's Tracy Scott.
Hi, Tracy Scott.
Hi, my name is Tracy, and my son's name is Kanan, better known as Nunk.
How do you spell Nunk?
N-U-N-K.
I'd love to know how that name came to be.
Let me know his current energy towards me. He presently lives with his father.
First of all, I want to say hi to you like this.
Sorry,
Okay.
not sorry, guys.
Hi, Tracy. Relax.
Just pretend none of it's happening.
Relax. Okay.
By the way, I just want to give you guys a little tip. When a psychic is very nice and loosey-goosey, that's when you get really good messages because he's open. Sorry. Didn't mean to blow your cover. Go ahead.
Okay. She said, what is Nunk's energy towards me right now?
Yes.
It's very interesting because he's very interested in you. So it's almost like he's sticking his little psychic note. By the way, he's intuitive. So it's almost like he feels you. And in the other realms, if you follow with me on this, hey, if you're watching this podcast, you kind of know what realms are. So he's like, his nose is like sniffing you out in these other realms. Like he wants to know what you're doing. He's interested in you. He doesn't want to particularly deal with you. It's not bad. It's just needing that time and that space. But very much still thinks about what it is that you're doing. What's the energy? Tangled. It is, you know that. It's tangled. It's conflicted. There's a bit of skepticism and almost like paranoia that's going on here, if you can understand that. I don't know what it's about. It's obviously clearly very personal, but that's the energy. You asked me what the energy was. Skeptical is the energy.
Okay. Ready to move on?
No, I actually have something to say. Somebody has a collection of Dr. Seuss books that I need to address, or somebody was just looking at a Dr. Seuss book recently, and I don't think it was like The Grinch. No, it was some other books. You were looking through some stuff, and you came across these Dr. Seuss books. If that's you, let me know. And Erica, did anybody respond to some of the earlier stuff?
Yes.
Okay. We got the bear claw.
Yes. You said the name Ruth?
Yes.
So that's Matt Crawford. Ruth is connected to me. That's the name of my grandmother's sister. I didn't know her that well.
Okay.
That's the only person who said anything.
Thank you. Great. Well, it was very clear. There was an older woman who was saying that name, and that's Michael, you said?
Matt Crawford.
Matt. How you doing, Matt? Well, Ruthie is around you saying hello, and all is well in tip-top shape, and she wants you to get your get up and go for it. That's what she's saying. I'm waving the flags. You know how when they have flags at the racetrack? Like, go! She's saying this to you. Now is the time to go. Put your foot on the accelerator. We're not talking about a car. We're obviously talking about anything new that you want to start. She is kind of your first base, second base, third base coach, and she is like waving you in at the same time. All of this is about getting this message to you, and though you did not know her well, I want you to try this on for size. If you left the earth and you saw that you had descendants, grandnieces, nephews, great-great-great-grandkids, whatever it may be, You would still look after them, wouldn't you, Matthew? Of course you would, because you're on the other side, totally in the amazing bliss of the universe, and you're like wanting to bless them. And though they didn't know you, it doesn't matter. You're still going to give it to them. And so she has known you in a different lifetime. That's why she's here, sending that to you. Did that gentleman, John, write us back at all?
No.
Okay.
Nothing yet from
Well,
John.
let's see if it rang true or not.
So let's move on to Roxy.
Roxy.
Missy, I was
Wait, Roxy or Missy?
I think it's Missy.
Why'd you say
she's-
Roxy?
It looks like that's the account she's using.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Missy, I was adopted as an infant. My mother and I didn't get along so well. I hope she's finally at peace now. I don't know if I've had past lives, but do our parents remain our parents in each reincarnation?
Not at all. They don't remain your parents in each incarnation. I have seen where they have repeated, where they have been your parents before as well. But it's more often than not, what we are doing as souls is that we are traveling in these soul groups. Within the soul groups, you might say that we are soul mates. Traditionally, people think of soulmates as the person you're romantically involved with and destined to be with. No, there's a wider definition, and that is that different souls who are kindred spirits, meaning they are here to work on something together, almost like a play, all the different actors in the play, and they change roles, right? Let's say that you have a theater company, and the theater company is the same actors, and every year the theater company does a different play. Think about it that way. So the person who was playing Scrooge in the last play is now playing, the hero in the new play. People switch roles. And all of that is for the sake of love, for the sake of the evolution of the soul. And when you were adopted, I want you to understand something. You made a choice that in this lifetime, part of your education, your soul's education in this lifetime was going to be the so-called circumstances. Notice I said so-called circumstances because I don't believe in circumstances. I believe in opportunities. There's only opportunities. Change the entire way that you see it. Instead of saying, these were the circumstances I was born into, you can say, these are the opportunities that I was given to discover my path, to know that the destiny of who I am was not about who I came through biologically. It was that I came here to experience many different perspectives because I was interested in that clearly as a soul. And so you are here on a different path. It was all chosen by you because there's so much more to your path than you even realized yourself. So we do switch roles. That's the answer to that question.
Okay, so Senor got back to us. John's reply, we've been discussing replacing the floor in our meditation room. Guess we just got the go-ahead.
I love that.
And also, our son Bodhi is planning to start gymnastics right after the new year.
Cheers to that.
So we're going to go to Bernadette next. She said she was adopted too. Her adopted mom passed. So much was left unsaid. And her question, yes. Her question is, do my guides have any messages for me? I'm in a lot of psychological agony. I'm done with romantic relationships. I'm actually getting a message for her. I'm very connected to Bernadette, actually.
Have we given her messages before?
Yes, we have. But
Okay.
I'm getting a message immediately before I even finish the statement. The guides interjected. So Bernadette, what
Please.
I'm getting is that you actually need to do a shaman journey.
Find a shaman in your area. Where are you
Yes.
from? We
Yeah.
need to start a network. Maybe that's a good thing. If we can start a
Shaman
network.
network.
No, because
Well, there's a lot of websites.
Shamanic healing is getting bigger and bigger. And people ask me all the time. Some people can't fly to LA to work with me one-on-one. And they'll ask me for someone in their area. I need to actually, I'm serious, honey. We need to
Well,
create
there's
that.
websites out there that tell you.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know how good they are.
We need to have something that
But
people
then
can
we have
trust
to
in a
vet
way.
them and find out how real they are.
We'll
and
work
then
on it.
gets all
We'll work on it.
political.
It's needed, so we'll work on it.
But Bernadette, because you have been connected with us since the beginning and you've been asking similar questions, I'm very tuned into you because for many years, as when I was actively working as a shaman, I was focused in deep healing trauma. And what I understand is there's a point that you get to where it's like a ceiling you hit and you can't seem to birth yourself. You can't seem to break the shell. And it happened to me too. And so the only way I was able to actually break through this shell is I actually had to do a psilocybin journey, mushroom journey. And it was in a very, sacred space. and it was
Life-changing.
led by Riz. But like over the years, I've done many of them, and I just want to say that was the only thing that was able to unlock, unleash, release, let go, heal the deep, deep traumas that we all carry, because it's cellular, it's in the emotional body, it's in the physical body.
It is a gift from the earth.
It is.
That has no side effects. It actually will promote healing on every level. It's why it's being promoted by Johns Hopkins and all these different colleges and neurologists and psychiatrists and healers. So look into it. And if you don't know anything about it, watch on Netflix Fantastic Fungi, and also watch How to Change Your Mind episode 2. Both are on Netflix. Do that first so you get a better idea of what it is if you don't know what we're talking about.
So that's the answer to your question.
Right.
And Laura Dominguez, I have to tell you, you said train the shamans, make a shaman school. Well, we tried. Okay.
Oh, we tried.
We tried. So here's what we discovered when we tried to make a shaman school, because we had a healing center for 10 years in Malibu, and it was like 100 people a week coming through, and our family lived there. It was amazing. So here's what happened when we opened the doors to allow people to come in and train with us is we kind of prepped them in the beginning, and we tried to tell them like, okay, it's going to be fun and good, and you're going to get a healing out of it, and it's all wonderful, and you can do your own healing work at the same time, and you could help others, and like the whole standard thing, right? But as we started to get deeper into it, they started to get uncomfortable, because they were like, well, this is getting kind of like
boot camp.
It's too intense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're not even a quarter of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, we are like, we haven't even hit a stride yet. And the more we kept digging and pushing and showing people what it takes to be a working professional shaman, who's not afraid to get their soul dirty, because you roll up your sleeves when you're working with people. And so many people dropped out. So many people were like, this is too intense. Those people went off. A lot of them tried to start their own shamanic healing practices. And as I've looked into them, they're not doing exactly what we're doing. They're doing a kind of a lighter, much softer frequency.
More like,
type
yeah,
shaman.
they're not dedicating their entire being to it. Listen,
Yeah, it's not like.
there's levels of intensity and efficacy, meaning how effective is a person in any profession, right? And it's the level of dedication. How many doctors are out there? Listen to this. How many Western doctors are out there that have degrees on the wall? How many anybody is out there that have degrees on the wall, and you wouldn't go to any of them? You wouldn't trust them. You've had bad experiences, yet they've passed all the tests. They obviously have some base of knowledge, and yet there's no application that is properly being able to be integrated with what you're going through. Simply put, you go, I don't trust them. So it's not about the degrees. We have certifications for Reiki, and someone says, I'm a Reiki master. Well, I've had healings from people that said they're a Reiki master and nothing has happened. And I have people who are doing Reiki level 1 where it was incredible. And look, it's the nature of any certification process. You pay the money, they'll just eventually give you the certificate. But just like if you pass the test and give all the right answers, you'll be a doctor. Or you'll be a that, or you'll be a that. And all of us have known by living on planet Earth that it's not always the so-called qualifications that you see, that it needs to look a certain way, or a shaman needs to dress a certain way, or act a certain way. It is about the vibration that you feel. A good healer, I think that there are signs of a good healer, is one that should inspire you, one that should speak in an articulate manner, one who is their own person, and even a healer that gives you a little bit of like, there's a little edge to them that stirs you, that makes you wonder about them, that moves you.
Yeah, like a good teacher. Like when you were in school,
good
the
teacher.
Teachers you remember in school, and Stephen Mailer is in the house right now, so a little shout out. He's an excellent professor. A good teacher will challenge you. A good teacher will push you a little and get you a little uncomfortable.
Give you a little fear.
Yeah,
in you,
kind of wake you up a little bit.
Because my martial arts teacher scared the hell out of me, and it wasn't because I was afraid he was going to do something to me. It was just, there was the energy of, he was talking about the force. He was talking about chi. He was talking about life force, and he had such a reverence for it that his eyes were ablaze with energy. And the basis of all of this healing work or psychic work or shamanic work, that for me, what it means is that you are not trying to change to become a new version of you, because the new version of you, guys, is actually the true version of you, the authentic, real,
it's like a
core
layer,
version
right? Like an onion, like you're unlayering.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You're calling it
And in the
change, but you're
beginning,
just
it's
letting go
painful,
of.
you guys. You know, when you try to peel an onion, it's like rough and tough, the outer skin. And as you keep going, it gets looser and looser. That's what happens when you start to unravel and unveil.
Yes.
We have so many super chat questions we have to get to really quick, and we can't even get to anybody else.
I just want to say a real quick shout out to Stephen Mailer, one of a dear friend of ours. Stephen, we love you, and wanted to say to everyone, if you really want to understand the stories of ancient Egypt, which we say ancient Egypt, but you'll discover as you study that it's actually the land of Kemet, and chematology is what Stephen teaches, and there's some wonderful books. His last name is Mehler. Look up some of his books,
his name?
and Erica will type
He
it in.
is like the guardian.
And he had,
of
speaking
the
of gurus,
ancient
his
Egyptian.
teacher, Hakim, who was the sacred keeper of this knowledge that was passed down through through time and space, you might say, and given to Stephen, and he's put it into his books. And, forget ancient aliens and all of that stuff. You want to know about stuff that's going to really blow your mind and help you to understand that deep culture that has affected history to this day, and read some of Stephen's books. That being said, let's
jumping
continue.
in. Let's jump in the pool. Okay.
Oh, wait, I got there's somebody else coming through.
Ding, 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 ding.
The name that they're trying to give a message to is like Jordan or Jordana or Georgiana, something like that. So there's someone here that's connected to that person. It's coming through.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
All right. So try to be concise, and we got to go through quite a few.
All
okay.
right.
Steph Clark, follow up to Circle of Life. No, follow up to Circle of Light. So that means she went to the Circle of Light.
Oh.
Or watched it on live stream.
Well, thank you.
Or something like that. Okay. And Circle of Light is the trance channeled
Group event that we do.
Thank you.
Okay.
My bro Mark died of suicide when I was a baby. Red Eagle said it was for my spiritual growth, but how can that be? I thought suicides were different. Clarity, please. Now, that's a huge, heavy topic.
I can answer very quickly.
Thank you.
Okay. So how can that be that it's for your spiritual growth? Because you're going to decide that every single thing that has ever happened to you, past, present, or future, is for your spiritual growth.
Amen.
Period. Second, those who take their own lives, they're not being punished at all. They don't get punished on the other side. What they're doing is they're just trying to connect with God's source energy. They're trying to feel full and complete. At that moment in time where they take their own life, they feel that that is the answer to do that. Whether they believe in another side or they believe that nothing ever exists for them after, they do that suicide act in order to feel better than the current state that they're feeling in. The reason why most people commit suicide is that there's something in common here, and this is what I firmly believe as a shaman, is that those people were believing things that weren't true. They were believing things that were not true. Here are some of the things that they were believing: that life can't get better, that maybe nobody loves them, that they can't receive love, that this was their doom and their destiny were all rolled up into one. They all believe those 3 or 4 things in addition to other things. If you want spiritual evolution, you have to take it. You have to say, I'm evolving from anything that I experience in front of me. I'm never in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing wrong has ever happened to me. I use all of these things because I'm committing myself to the fact that I exist in multi-dimensions and that I'm an eternal being, and so is everyone else, and love is my God. Is that concise enough for you?
That did it.
Okay.
Someone knows a Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is rogue.
That is rogue,
Rogue, yes.
meaning missing.
No, rogue is the name of the person who is saying.
They went rogue. What?
Rogue is the name of the person who knows a Jordan. Let me ask what Rogue's name is.
They would have to have lost an older female.
Okay.
Because there's an older female here who's saying that name.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Got one more. This is an interesting name. The name is like... It's like Eastern European. It's like Slava, Slava. This is the kind of... Yeah, that's the name. So if you're connected to that person, maybe it's it could be an ancestor, but someone is here connected to that. Last but not least, did someone in this out there, you guys, one of your family members own a car dealership and they are now crossed, or you own the car dealership now? Let me know. I have a message for you.
Stormy Jean Thiessen. Hello. I would love to know if my guides have any messages for me as we begin to round out the final few pages of 2023 and prepare for the new year.
Very well put. I like your way with words, my friend. Stormy, you said. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want you to think of this, Stormy. Your guides are coming through, and you have a wonderful guide who is like a blacksmith, like one of those that makes horseshoes for horses. Spirit guides come in all shapes and forms, and yours is coming as a blacksmith, and is saying that he is kind of like helping you bend things into place, but they are already bent into place. Now is the time to polish. You may think it's about like you did the hard work this past year of bending things in the shape that you want them to be. Your hands might be a little sore, but the blacksmith spirit guide is saying it's done. You don't need to put any more pressure. Let's go into getting out the polishing cloth and just polish it up. And any ideas of perfection that you have, that everything has to be perfect, it's now time to be very, very loose with those ideas of perfection. There are times to strive for perfection. This is not one of them. This is to know that enough energy was spent in 2023. It is time for you to not be so hard on yourself that no, you should have or could have done more, or that these efforts went unappreciated. This is now time for you to just go, I'm going to enjoy polishing it. So imagine you're polishing a horseshoe, or you're imagining you're polishing some beautiful piece of metal, or the bumper of a car that becomes really nice, chrome and shining, and looking at yourself. This is now 2024 is about shining the light on self-love with yourself, celebrating yourself. Okay, there's nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. In fact, you were meant to celebrate yourself. Babies come out of the womb celebrating themselves and being alive. So there's nothing egoic or egoist about that.
Taylor Peel. Hey, team. I'm so grateful for all that you do. Thank you. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. I have been feeling a team of 3 males around me helping to bring opportunities for myself and my friend Julie Ann. Is there any messages for us?
I don't feel the 3 so immediately with you, but what I do feel is a very big, I'm going to call it the great bloom, is about to happen for you and Julie. The great bloom is the coming out. It's just exactly what it does when a flower blooms. So that is happening about, even in a practical physical sense, of where you're starting to feel like your skin is brightening, or your hair is finally going the way that you want it to go, or things are fitting in your style better. This is a great time. Also, I want to say to one of you, get a mini trampoline. One of the guides is saying it's time to get that, like, you know what they're called? They're called rebounders, or just jump rope, whatever it is. It is time to get that lymphatic system moving in the morning. It's like the first thing. They're giving a very quick interjection of physical fitness tips for either one of you or both of you. Does one of you have a bad knee? If so, just be more gentle. Obviously, don't jump rope, but like just it's more about the moving the lymphatic system is more of a kind of like moving up and down or bobbing or that kind of thing. You could just do brisk walking too. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. As far as the 3 guides go, it feels more like almost like 3 wizards, like the 3 wise men kind of energy. Oh, okay. So remember how I'm getting, yes, it is like that. So remember how the 3 wise men brought like frankincense and myrrh to the baby Jesus? Well, frankincense is a very powerful compound. Basically, it's the resin of this tree. It's only found in 2 areas in the world, really. And one of them is Oman, O-M-A-N. The best frankincense comes from there. So find it online. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely better than the generic kind that you get off of Amazon. And learn how to burn that, and start doing more saging of your front door. Saging, I'm using that as a verb, but I'm talking about frankincense. So I'm not talking about sage. When I say saging with frankincense, I just mean you're burning frankincense in an abalone shell on a piece of charcoal, and you're allowing yourself to go more into how to bless your own home and clear the energy space, because you are renewing. And start doing that just within like New Year's Eve, and then do it once a week in your house. This is about just making sure that those environments are clean and clear for you. Erica, I feel like you're going to say something. Mm-hmm. Is that true? Yes. Oh, you are.
2 people, Carrie High Vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it for Grandpa? This is the car connection.
Yeah.
My niece's grandpa.
Yes.
owned Infinity of Denver.
Great.
And he passed a few years ago.
Great. Well, he is coming through to let you know that he is the top dog on the other side. He's doing really well, and he's almost like he is just, not only do he own the car dealership down here, but he is kind of like I want to say he's the community leader on the other side. He's helping other souls on the other side acclimate to the other side. He has never stopped wanting to get people together and moving forward, and he's doing that even now. And he said, I'm always going to try to make sure that you guys have good vehicles for you. And that's when he initially was coming through. He kept saying, I want to get everybody new cars. He was tapping me on the shoulder. So thank you for bringing that into tonight's reading.
We're going to get to some of the non-super chat people in a second. I'm going to take Carrie High Vibes' question, Riz, so you can just take a little breather. So Carrie,
thank you.
I'm going to answer your question because I know this one. Hey guys, I can't seem to get in touch with my guides. I've been trying for years. What am I not doing correctly? And do they have a message for me?
Oh, you're probably not dialing the right number.
So Riz will do the message part if they have a message for you, but I'm going to talk to you about how come you're not receiving any messages from your guides. So get ready for this answer because this is not what you expect. You're actually afraid. And what you're afraid of is your higher self. You're afraid of magic. You're afraid of the other worlds. You're afraid of the other realms. You're afraid of something outside of you. You're afraid that something could exist outside of you. You're afraid that something is not structured in your 3D reality as you know it. You're afraid to listen in. You're afraid to eavesdrop. You're afraid to feel that there's more because you're scared, but not in a bad way, but more like a little kid who's scared to peek around the corner and see what's over there. So you have to get very, very quiet. My suggestion is do a lot of self-soothing things like bubble baths and candles and scents and really soft moments like blankets, and be cozy and tiny with yourself to allow yourself to peek around the corner and see if there is any messages or guides.
Now I can hear her saying, "No, I'm not."
And also,
I hear her saying, I can hear her saying, "No, I'm not. I totally want to connect to my spirit guides." We know that.
No.
She's not saying you don't want to.
Get rid of that. That's layer one.
Yeah, that's layer one.
That's the first. That's chapter one.
You're talking about subconsciously.
Yes, I'm talking about what's really happening under the layers.
Let's talk about conscious and subconscious. Let's talk about that for a moment. We're using these terms to differentiate because as an empath, you are very comfortable in the realms of beyond the first layer. Okay, so that's what you guys got to understand when you're talking to an empath. Yeah. So when she says you're afraid, it's not right here in the afraid because she's not afraid. She wants to connect with her guides, but she doesn't. You don't know what she's talking about. Is that there are fears that don't feel like fears to you consciously. They are a resistance underneath that may be based on different factors. Okay,
it's kind of like opening a box, right? And you don't know what's in the box, and you're in that stage where you're kind of nervous, and it's kind of like if you trust me to just try this, if you just trust the process of what I'm saying to you, you will see that this is the access point and this is the doorway. It's just a fear. It's just a fear. It's one of those things that you're going to have to actually just jump into the pool based on what I'm saying to you and just try it out for size.
Yeah, and
see if there's any messages from her guides.
Well, number one thing that I'm getting from one of your guides who's coming through as Pegasus. This is a guide that comes through once in a while to me over the years and works with certain key people. So Pegasus energy is coming through to let you know that you're searching too hard, that you're trying a bit too hard. And I do know what that means because I will tell you as a trance channel, I have very big energy spirit guides coming through me. And you would think that they just take over because Red Eagle's so powerful and Phineas is so powerful and Merlin and all these different guides. But I would say this to you is that they actually come in as soft as a baby breathing, like the tip of a feather touching the back of my shoulder. And I have to be in a very vulnerable and sensitive place to allow myself to feel that kind of extension coming into my aura where I now sense that there's a spirit guide. And it took quite a bit of time for me to channel the way that I do or give messages the way that I do, where instantly it's there for me. I've done a lot of practice. You might say it's like asking a gold medalist gymnast to do a few backflips. I can do it on the spot. But the thing is that what it takes to get there is all the thousands of hours of going through these spaces psychically that it's not like you call your spirit guides up and they go, here's the answer. No, they speak in code. They speak in, even when I'm giving you guys messages and I put it in plain English for you, you have no idea the codes and symbols that are happening faster than light speed, calculating in my consciousness to be able to translate them, because they don't even speak in English. It's coming through frequency and vibration that I translate into English words that you could understand. Understanding meaning will make sense to you in terms of the question that you're asking me. So this is what it takes. And so you might be thinking you're wanting to hear a message from your guides in a particular way because you have expectations. And I'm just here to tell you from someone who's been up the mountain in Oriah, who's been up in the mountain and back as an empath, is that you might get just one word from your spirit guides. You might get a color. You might just get a number. And then you're going to try to figure that out for weeks, months, a year. I would. But see, I'm just that kind of student. I might get one word and I'll dive into that word for the next 6 months. Some people will get message after messages from me and they want more messages and they haven't even processed one word of the first message. What can I tell you? You got to dedicate yourself to this completely and have no expectations.
How do you feel about this question?
Sure. Can you read it for me?
No.
Okay, let me look at it. Well, I only will answer questions that I get something on, so I don't get anything on that question.
Okay, so let's go to Tracy Scott.
Did anybody answer some of those questions that I put out there yet? Okay, thank you.
Did we do Tracy Scott? What is coming
yes,
in?
Yes, I did hear that name before. So let's go to someone who hasn't asked a question
But
yet.
that was really fast. We don't know for sure, right?
Yes, I do know that I...
Okay. Okay, so I asked Crystal Ann to see clearly to rephrase this question, unless you want to tackle this question the way
I feel
it is.
good about it. Ask me.
Okay. My husband, Dustin, has had so much loss since we met 7 years ago. His mom, Mary, is living, but has turned dangerous these last 2 years, asking for help and guidance.
Turned dangerous?
Yeah, that's why I asked her if she could rephrase
I don't know
it. And you said that you're going to tackle it, so you want to try to tackle it?
Yes, I will. But what's the last question?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I asked her to re-ask the question a different way. So we're looking for if she... She says, I struggle to portray messages in 150 characters. 1 second.
Oh, they give you a limit? I didn't know that they give you a limit for characters.
Okay. Does Yvonne have guidance on what to do to help Mary, her sister,
thank you,
who lives alone now but won't speak with us anymore and loses herself in fits of rage? She becomes someone else.
Yes, there is, and I want to go straight to it. You are in a situation where it requires a very strong intervention. Because what I do when I psychically tune into situations like this is I'm looking to see if we have reached the capacity energetically. What does that mean? You know how sometimes in your life where you thought you hit rock bottom and then you swore on it, but then you didn't hit rock bottom till like months later, and then you made the change? That's what I'm looking into right now, whether this has hit its max. And this hit its max about 3.5 months ago, to be very exact with you. So what would that be? We're December, so that would be September. And that would be end of August to beginning of September is where I see this already we're past that point now. And there comes as a point as a human being, as a soul, that where you will give what you can. And if that person doesn't take it, then what can you do? Because you cannot sometimes I like to say you can't water plastic flowers. And we tend to do that with people sometimes. And even with people that we love. But I see right here is you can make just one more last strong attempt here, and then you're going to have to take your hands off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Janelle Kane.
Yeah.
Last week you had said there was a woman that had a connection to a mine, and you spoke of John Philip Sousa.
Yes.
And
I do remember something like that.
Someone, a grandparent.
Yes.
I think, named Fern. Her great-grandfather, sorry, this is kind of long.
Oh my God.
Her father played the clarinet for John Philip Sousa.
That's very interesting. What is the mime connection?
We don't know the mime connection, but
John Philip Sousa in that last week's message was someone's spirit guide, if I remember. Yeah.
So I think she wanted to know if her great grandfather had a message for her because that was part of the John Philip Sousa.
Oh, interesting. It could be. At the moment, no. Okay.
This is a fun question.
Oh, hold on a second. Who just painted something black in their house? I just saw somebody paint like an entire wall black. Got to give you a message. Go ahead. What was it?
Elysia.
Okay.
Hi, lovebirds and Miss Erica. Merry Christmas and blessed Yule to you three. My name is Jade C. Tagnips. Can I know who are my female spirit guides? My birthday is December 4th, 2000.
Who are your female? You're very specific who your female. I can't ask that. I'm just going to get who are your guides if they happen to have a female energy. By the way, guides, yes, spirit guides do come in the form of what we recognize as male or female. And sometimes they come through as simply energy. I call those nature spirits, or I call those elementals.
Kylie is painting black circles right now as we speak with black paint.
Okay, there you go.
Well, Kylie, you got seen.
Yeah, very, very quickly to Kylie, I just want to let you know that your guides, what you're doing right now is that you're tuning into your guides. And what you're doing right now is creating a frequency where they are able to, you're kind of in the zone where you can begin to kind of receive their connection and message to you. So keep doing those circles. Now, back to, who was it before?
Well, Janelle Kane says she played the piano for the silent movies.
And that's what you're connecting to mimes because of silence? No, there was somebody I was just giving a message to before you went into the Kylie message.
I'm working on somebody named KL and getting names and stuff, so I've been focusing on something else.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought. Who was I talking to before?
You got the KL, then you had the black.
Yeah, before that.
Janelle before that.
What was Janelle's?
Janelle was the mime, and then we moved on.
Okay, I thought there was someone in between that and this one.
I have...
Sorry, Janelle, it wasn't coming through about that just yet. If I get it, I'll come to you.
Martini, I was just writing about seeing my sister on Pegasus in the sky after my sister died when you started talking about Pegasus. Anyway, it was in the middle of the day. Was this real? Her name is Paulette.
Absolutely real, and there's no coincidences that I'm talking about Pegasus, and at that moment you saw this, you have a story about Pegasus and your sister passing on. I want to say something about your sister's energy coming through. It's a very old soul kind of energy, almost like an old woman in a young person's body, was always there. And there's an old saying, and I love this saying. I've mentioned it before sometimes privately, that I love this saying. It's called tripping the light fantastic.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
Can I just say it real quick?
Yes.
Tripping the light fantastic.
And it had to do with dancing,
fun.
dancing and really tearing it up on the dance floor. And your sister is. Just wanted to toss that out to you. I was just wondering, was that person's name KL, did you say?
Yes.
Make sure, KL, that you are, it's funny, it's like cleaning out and reorganizing all areas right now, throwing away what is no longer necessary. And my favorite way to do that is when you're reorganizing or clearing up space is to pick up an item and say, if it's not very beautiful or very useful, it goes. So if it's very beautiful, keep it. If it is not, let it go. If it is very useful, keep it. If it is not, let it go.
Earlier in the beginning of the show, there was somebody who was wanting a message from their husband, Harold. Can we check in and see if Harold got the message?
Yes. There is a connection to the month of April here coming through also with this connection with the person who was asking about Harold. I do want to say that Harold's energy is coming through and putting a crown on his head. I think that he always thought that he was a king, but not in a bad way. And they gave him a nice crown when he came to the other side. I also want to say that do you still have a coat that he bought for you, or this is his favorite coat and he loved when you wore this coat? He's talking about the coat. And I don't think it's a coat of arms, though it could be a coat of arms because the word coat is being used, but there can't be any other meaning for it but that. Yes. He's want to make sure that you're getting around well. He's kind of like he's navigating traffic from the other side for you to make sure that you're able to get around and make sure that you're getting around comfortably, and wants to make sure that that can happen for you, because that's something that he's looking after. Is that you can get physically where you need to go when you need to go there, not to feel stranded or isolated or trapped in that way.
Lori Ann said it was me, and yes, so I don't know what that means, but just hang on to that. KL said thank you. We're used to say to my sister all the time that she was tripping the light fantastic.
Hold on, let's repeat that. Say that again. That she said to me she was tripping the light fantastic. And you're saying that
Can we just have a moment?
She said that you said that to her. This is why I love being a medium. These are the moments. Because
if this was like a bigger set, I would just
healing.
like lay on the floor right now and just.
Well, the couch is over there.
You guys, can we just lay on the floor one time and then we'll just like, hey, you know that podcast that's like, it's called The Super Boring Podcast or something? And she talks like
The Super Boring Oh, that girl. What's her name?
And she goes like this. So what are you doing?
So yeah. So like, you think you're cool because you do that?
So
yeah. Like she interviewed Drake. That was a big one.
Why'd you do that?
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
And
you don't know that girl?
No.
Yeah.
She's very dry. She is.
Yeah,
I find her to be funny.
Yeah. You watch it with us, E.
Okay.
But the Drake one was a fun
YouTube podcast right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It has all the celebrities on it. But it's because.
Let's be the number one psychic
No,
YouTube
it's
podcast.
because we believe that it's like.
You guys can help us be the number one psychic YouTube
I think
podcast.
she was a plant. Like she was somebody that like they hired her.
Okay.
But before we go on, would you be interested in the future if we did a podcast where we sat on the floor, did something unusual like that?
Lori Ann says, I don't drive. Is she the one that said about the car?
He used to drive for me.
Oh, okay. That's why he wants to make sure you get around. That's the Harold one?
Yes.
Oh, that's there. So you see what I'm saying?
That's a
Lori Ann?
confirmation.
That's a confirmation.
Complete sense to me.
Thank
Thank you so much.
God bless you guys.
So I don't think we finished Alicia Mystica. You were talking about her 3 guides. That's when.
Okay, see, there was someone in between.
Alicia. Alicia.
So, oh, right. I was saying about the 3 wise men.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I finished that message, Alicia. I was saying that, start bringing that little inner shaman in you out and making sure that you clean the energy space. Learn about feng shui and how energy flows through a space. Feng shui is really, really good. Don't go too crazy with it because it can get very detailed and very complicated. Just learn the basics about how energy flows through a space. And you can do this for yourself. And I really feel that you'd be good doing it for other people too. A little side gig if you need one.
All right, let's go
and if you don't need one, do it for free.
Let's go to the Baron. Hi, can you relay a Christmas message from my grandmother Dorothy to me and her great-grandchildren, her thoughts on the new year?
Well, she wants to quote the old Charles Dickens novel, A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times and the worst of times. And every generation has said that. You go back to 1979 and you ask people, is it the best of times and the worst of times? They'll say yes. You go back to 1989, 2009. Boy, you know what was interesting? I saw this meme the other day and it said, it was like this woman in shock and it said, the moment that you realize that the difference between 1980 and 1937 is like between now and 1980.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like what? And they were playing Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. I love Cyndi Lauper. Love the song Time After Time. I feel that it has a very spiritual, deep vibe. Cyndi Lauper, if you guys don't know, she is an incredible singer. And she's from New York City and she's from she hit it big in the 80s with the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Wait,
but
do you actually think there's humans on this planet that don't know who Cyndi Lauper is?
I do, because we got some Gen Zs who watch us, and they may not know. But
Exit stage left.
But I want you to Google, if you really want to hear an amazing, beautiful version of Time After Time, the hit from the 80s, Google or YouTube search Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time, acoustic Australia. I think she was on Australian Idol when she sang this version, and it's just her and a guitar player, and she's playing a stringed instrument as well, like a flat top guitar, I think. And she's mastered. This is kind of things I talk about in my psychic classes, which is how to use your sensitivity. And music is one of the number one ways that we go past our conscious mind and into our superconsciousness, into our feeling bodies, our feeling auras, where our antennas, come out. And isn't it interesting? Like, even with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the nose is red to light in the dark, right? And it was what was the nose knows. It leads you forward. You'll find all these little parallels in life. So music does that. Music is the frequency. Earlier we were talking to someone who was talking about frequencies. Well, music is this channeled, controlled organization of frequencies that conveys great spiritual energy and understanding that heals you. Music soothes the savage beast. And it doesn't matter what kind of music it is. So, for some people, heavy metal soothes them. For some people, classical music soothes them. And when you're learning psychic work, you're really the student of frequency and energy. Now, getting back to my recommendation
for Baron.
Cyndi Lauper. Well, Baron, listen to this. This does have to do with you because it's coming out while I'm talking to you. So whatever it means, to go listen to the song. Cyndi Lauper is this great artist because she had been singing that song for so long. And most artists, when they come out and they have a song that is emotional, it's like you have to see them sing it the first 2 years. And after that, they start to just get tired of singing the song because they have to sing it because it's so popular. It's been 40 years since that song came out, and she goes on Australian Idol, Cyndi Lauper, and sings this song better, with more emotional impact than when she first sang it, which speaks volumes to me, is that she is a true artist, that she is bringing the years of experience and being this seasoned artist, this seasoned woman who's been through so much into her music. So go listen to it and see how a master does it. And this for you, Baron, the message is, even though you are older, and Cyndi Lauper is probably younger than you, that you continue to bring a new approach to old things, and that you're not just going through the motions anymore. And so any moves that you make, and for the grandkids or the great grandkids, to know that each day is precious, and that you don't need to be afraid of getting older, and you don't need to rush getting older, and you don't need to try to constantly be in a different time than you are. And I think that's why the song Time After Time was playing in my head for you, Baron, is that it was about time and about living in the moment with love and peace and relaxation. That's her message to you. That's Dorothy's message to you from Oz. Oh, that's interesting, because I said from Oz, making a joke about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, but Australia is called Oz.
So prior to this show tonight, we had filmed another show. So this is a back-to-back show. So we decided that we were going to have this show to be a little bit shorter. But here's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because I got to get back to Santa's workshop.
As we were kind of winding down, first of all, I just want to tell all of you guys, I love your energy. You guys are so fun. I've been to a lot of chat rooms over, the years, and on Instagram and YouTube, and there's so much love and firepower and intelligence and creativity and joy, and it just feels so good. And I love what you guys bring to the table, and it just is really fun to hang out with you guys.
I see something I want to talk about there. Ditto.
I knew you were going to want to talk about that. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's so interesting, right? You want me to read it?
Chris D, read Chris, what Chris D said.
Okay, so Chris D.
Chris D, you're kind of like tuned into something that I was talking about earlier today, and I'm going to get down with it with you
All
right
right,
now.
here's
So go
what he
ahead.
said. Boy, do I got some things to talk about. So through my camera in my living room, I can see into some type of dimensions. My apartment was built in 1840 and was the first woman's Catholic CRVCS
What's that?
services,
Oh, okay.
charity organization.
Chris, if you can send us some kind of picture or something just so we can
wanna
take a look. I would love
do
to
you have
see
any
that.
kind of documents on that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Of your camera, yeah.
Next thing I wanted to say to you, Chris, is yes, let's talk about dimensions, everyone. Chris is launching this little message I'm going to give to you guys. How do I explain dimensions? Okay, dimensions and go hand in hand with portals. There are portals into other dimensions. Dimensions are connected by portals, okay? Let's say that you take two mirrors, maybe just take two small mirrors like this, and you were to put them together. I did this when I was a kid. I would take my mom's compact and put it into the mirror and kind of look in. I think my guides were making me do that. So when you put two mirrors together, notice that when you look into each mirror, it goes on and on and on, almost looks like doorways that keep going and going and going to infinity. This is the best way that I can describe dimensions. Now imagine in that each one of those mirror images that there is a you that is just a little bit different, 5 degrees different than what you are now. And it goes on and on and on and on. So these are a way to understand dimensions. Now mirrors, by the way, are portals. So when it comes to mirrors, I always recommend to people that keep the mirror in the bathroom or the area that you get dressed, but not necessarily in the bedroom, or if it is, cover it with a blanket at night, because they are mirrors, and reflective surfaces are used for purposes of scrying, which is a form of divination, a form of understanding psychic energy. So you can use these natural elements of water or reflections to serve as a portal into receiving messages. Okay, you might have to rewind this a couple of times to listen to what I'm saying, but just try to feel what I'm saying about mirrors. So when it comes to mirrors, if they're in your bedroom, I recommend to people cover it, or just don't have it there. Have it in a different part, not where you're sleeping, because energy bounces off. Now, between dimensions, there are portals. Now, there are also places where the portals are not so closed off. You can, if the circumstances are right and the universe is in alignment for all, the good of all, you can help to close the door of a portal when you leave. For example, when I hold a circle of light and I'm trance channeling spirit guides, a lot of people don't know this, but I am helping to close the portal after the circle ends. And the way that is done is I lead an energy meditation with Red Eagle after all the messages have been given out. And you can see pictures on Instagram where you see all of our hands raised. All we're doing is an energy meditation, but what's happening on the other side is we're closing the circle of light. We're closing the portal.
By the way, Erica, I would like you to somehow let people know that they can view the link to the circle, to the message, the opening message from Red Eagle last night was so powerful. I don't think I put it on the website yet.
We don't have it yet.
Oh, okay. Next week we'll have
You
it.
can email me.
Yeah.
I'll put in the chat the email if anyone wants to pre-reserve.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Next
because you
week,
guys can
we'll
join in
have
on the
it.
circle of light.
Yeah. Next week.
Want to make a little quick announcement before I continue with the dimension portals. One quick announcement is that we still have spots for our Sedona retreat in the summer that is going on. And if you'd like to be a part of that, drop us a note and Erica's going to send you the link. I'm just going to finalize this group. We've had so many people applying, but I kind of handpick what group members go together that will vibe. So we have 3 or 4 spots left that I'm going to choose in the next few days. So here's something very special. If you sign on for Sedona, you're going to get $100 discount off of that retreat.
How cute.
Yes, that's a little present. Yes, it's a little Christmassy
thing. That was like a
thing.
little Christmas gift.
It is. And so if you are interested in joining us in Sedona in August, guys, that's for the Lionsgate Portal. The Lionsgate Portal is the psychic new year, basically. It's where you will have some incredible activations in that sacred land. So join us. All the other Sedona retreats, all the other Mount Shasta retreats are all sold out. Every country retreat is sold out in 2024. We are taking spots for Shasta in 2025. If you're interested in that, that's going to be for the spring equinox, which is around March 19th to the 22nd. So drop Erica a note. Back to you, Chris. I want to say this to you. The reason why you are in that building is because you were there when it was first opened and you were part of that holy group of women with the nuns. And so you're just revisiting. And I feel very, very good energy for you there.
So before we go, we'd like to talk to Mel W. Hello, my name is Melba. My father, Melvin, passed away on October 3rd, 2023. I wanted to know if you had any messages for me or our family. Thank you so much.
Okay. The issue here, though, Melba is the name. It's very soon. And I always like to tell people that it should be at least 6 months before a person passes, that after a person passes, that you try to make contact. Sometimes some mediums will tell you a year. There have been instances where I've gotten a message 3 days later. Okay, that it's very rare, but it does happen. I'm not in control of that. I will tell you this though, and it's happening right now that I am getting a message, and Archangel Michael is usually the one that comes through for these and is very present around you guys, as well as Archangel Raphael around you. I think there were a ton of flowers for this person because it was very much appreciated, and it was like overwhelming the kind of love that everyone poured out for this person, okay? It's like a thank you for respecting my body and the whole process of the funeral and for trying to be on top of it. There's a thank you for that, but he's very busy right now. That's what happens when you get to the other side. You're quite busy for a while. You have a lot of hands to shake. Yes, there are people before you who crossed over who want to meet you again and say hello and hug you, and you have to acclimate. You have to get used to the other side. And so that is being said right now to me. It's being passed on to me through one of my guides, which is Archangel Michael. Always is there immediately when these situations come up. But please wait a couple of more months. Wait till another 3 months. I would say give it 6 months before we give you another message. And I'm happy to give you that message. Just come back, okay?
And I just want to say...
I'm closing the portal now.
I just want to say next Sunday, we have a very special...
Christmas Eve. Oh, yes.
Very special Christmas Eve.
And wait till you see the outfits that we got for next Christmas Eve Psychic Sundays.
Just say that?
Yes. Wait till you see. You got to tune in because now they're getting used to it.
That is really sad.
Why?
I did not want to say anything.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they're going to put 2 and 2 together. I know how fast these people are.
Well, it's not Count Chocula.
It's aliens.
Okay, so it's a very special Christmas Eve. If you guys just want to take a little time, we're going to have it a little earlier because I know everyone's busy. We tried to figure out a good time. You know, it's kind of weird because Christmas Eve, some people celebrate it, some don't. But we're doing,
we might be maybe 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It'll be 5 o'clock in Los Angeles when we go live.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see you then. It's going to be a shorter one because it's Christmas Eve. You got things to do, but we want to give you a little, there'll be a bag full of messages in Santa's bag, so we'll do that.
All right, everyone. Have a great night. Much love.